Welcome back, Panthers, to Panther Productions. I'm your host, Avery, and I'm joined by
Asa Metcalf.
For upcoming events, we have K through 5 Ruggles Mine on June 2nd.
6th through 8th grade awards and barbecue on June 3rd.
Spring Sports Awards on June 3rd.
National Junior Honor Society induction on June 4th.
National Honor Society induction on June 5th.
4th grade trip to Mount Washington, June 5th.
High school awards on June 6th. We now go to Brayden with 3 championship alumni.
I am Brayden McAndrew, and recently I sat with the 3 Lisbon alumni who won the state championship titles in soccer, basketball, baseball, or softball. They shared their memories about the special experiences.
We won in 71-72 for basketball, and then in 72-73 we won the basketball and the baseball championship.
All right. We won, so my freshman, sophomore year, we won, what was that, 2000? Let me look at the banners.
I'm looking at the banner.
It was, I think, 2006 and 2007 for both. 2006 was baseball and basketball, and then 2007 we won, actually I guess that technically would be 2006 for soccer, and then the following year we won 2007 baseball and basketball, and then 2008 we won soccer.
Lots of them. So we were undefeated state champs for softball in 1988, which was my senior year.
I would have to say the first championship was the basketball one down in Plymouth. We played down there, and we played Alton. And at the end of the third period, we were behind. And we'd lost one game that season. We lost to Groveton up there, 93-90, I can tell you the score. And we were playing Alton, and they were ahead. And every practice during the season, we practiced playing a full court press, and never did it. Never used it in a game. And I can remember Coach Stillins looking at us, and he said, "Boys, look up behind me," because all the fans were behind us. They were standing there cheering. I'm getting chills just doing it. And he said, "They came down here to watch you win, and we're going to win." He says, "You know that press that we have practiced every day from the beginning of the season till now that we've never used?" He says, "Use it now." So we went out there and we put the press on, and it just turned the whole game. And we turned around and I want to say we were down by 6 or 7, and we ended up winning the game by 6 or 7. And we actually ended up taking the press off and playing basketball, and we won the championship. And the thrill is amazing.
I would say my senior year soccer championship would be
my best memory. We were playing Derryfield in the championship, and there's a lot of history with Derryfield and Lisbon losing to them, so felt like there was a little more pressure on that game. We were the 1 seed. We split with Holbrook on the season, but that's the only team that we really struggled with that year. We ended up beating them in the semifinals, beat them by 1 goal, and then Derryfield, we were tied 1-1, and then we went into sudden death overtime. And I just remember feeling like just this overwhelming confidence that we were going to win that game. And it wasn't too long into that overtime that I got a ball to me, and I was shoulder to shoulder with a Derryfield defender, and sprinted halfway down the field, got a step on him as the goalie came out, and ripped the shot and ended up in the back of the net. And such a great experience to just end senior year state championship, game-winning goal in overtime, and it was just probably still to this day one of my best feelings and best moments that I've gotten to experience with guys that you've spent your whole sports career with up to that point, and you grew up with. And
yeah, it was just a cool experience.
And I'll add to that, because We had in softball, we had been in the tournament every year, and my sophomore, junior, and senior year, we went to the championship round. And sophomore, junior year, we lost to Newt, and Newt had an excellent pitcher. So it was frustrating. The pressure was on all of our, the girls that I've played with for many years. There were 5 of us that were seniors. We've been together forever through middle school, Boutin middle school, and high school. And there was a lot of pressure on us that game. We were 18. Well, at the time we were 17-0. And I actually have got just a couple of memories. The first one was in the quarterfinals against Dairyfield. We had bases loaded, tie game, and 2 outs. And Jenny Peters was up to bat, and she asked Mr. Parham, she asked for timeout, went over to Mr. Parham and said, hey, she goes, can I bunt? And he's like, 2 outs? It's a force out. And she's like, no, I can put it down. And they weren't expecting it at all. And she put the best bunt we were expecting at 2 outs. Everyone was taking off, and we won the game, which was, again, the pressure was on to get to the championship in the first place, being 17-0, 18-0. And then in our final game, we were playing Ashland, and it was like a football score. I think the final score was 19-15.
Wow.
And I pitched so bad. I mean, I'd had a really good year, and I was known for being pretty consistent, and I was not that day. And I remember coming off the field just kind of losing it emotionally, and Mr. Parham looked at me and he said, you got to get it together. And I started crying, and he's like, Phyllis, who was Phyllis Ardolino, was my backup pitcher, who really didn't pitch a whole lot during the season, but he's like, Phyllis, go pitch. And she's like, what? I can't pitch. I cannot pitch. She's like, Nikki, get it together. And I did, and I went out.
You do.
And, we hit really well, and it was a great, just the memories. And I think part of it too is you have the whole town of Lisbon there celebrating. My brother, who was in college, came home from college to go to my games. So it's like, I think the pressure of everything, being 18-0 and getting the job done, I guess, was a challenge. So.
Well, it's hard to describe the pressure that's on you in those finals. You've played out here. You've played with these kids. I mean, same thing. Everybody I graduated with in the year who graduated before us, we played everything together.
Right.
I mean, we've been together from pickup ball. We played more pickup tennis balls over at Tom White's house, while we were in here every weekend.
Yeah.
So even though you knew each other, you knew where everybody was going to be on the court, you knew exactly what was going to happen. The pressure out there is amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. Because you're
ended
uptight.
up playing Newt in my senior year in the semifinals. And one other quick story was we were ahead, but not by much. And it was, again, we got to beat Newt. And I went to pitch, and the ball slipped out of my hand and came up over my head, landed in front of me, and I turn around and look at Kelly Houston, who was my shortstop, and she's on the ground, laughing, almost crying. Luckily, no one was on, so it wasn't a big deal. But she laughed, and I think we needed that release.
Yeah. Yeah, I see them. We've never had a reunion to speak of, but some of them still live in the area. So yeah, we see each other and talk. We discuss everything. We don't discuss just, the school. But because other than Tom White, there's nobody in town.
Yeah, I definitely see most of or at least half the guys, at least a couple times a year. We don't necessarily make plans and get together. You kind of, high school, it's like, that's everything. That's all you know. And then, you go to college or whatever you do, and you kind of start to go your own individual ways and find your path, and you form new relationships, and you don't necessarily cut out your old ones, but you kind of all really start to grow into your own lives, and sometimes you have them around, other times not as much, but there's still good feelings and still great memories that you share with each other that can't say you've experienced with other
Right.
people.
Yeah, I had, as I said, there were 5 seniors my senior year for softball, and we all kind of went, except for myself, kind of spread out, a couple in New Hampshire, one in New York and New York City, and one all the way in Alaska. And when we do get together, one of my friends that I graduated with passed away last year, and when we got together, it's just a lot of great. It was like we haven't been apart for 30 years, and it's great. There's still a lot of girls that I played softball with that still live in Lisbon. Yeah, so Sam Knapp and Sue, who drives the bus, she was our big hitter. So yeah, we keep in touch a little bit here and there. So
Get off the computer.
get outside.
I mean, computers didn't exist when I was in school. Okay, that wasn't a thing. I mean, we would get up in the morning, have breakfast, and our mothers would kick our butts out the door. And you played with the neighborhood kids, or you played with your friends down here, and you were always playing some pickup game of some kind, because that's all you knew. And we didn't have soccer back then. We just ran cross country in the fall, and we used it as a way to get in shape for basketball and for baseball. But we were outside playing some sport all the time. And even though we were friends, and we were friends, we were as competitive as you could be. And you hated to lose. I know I hate to lose today. I coach these young ladies. I hate to see them lose.
Yeah.
But losing is also part of how it goes. Okay, it's part of growing up. It's a learning process, and they will get to the other side of that because there's a core that played together now. But we played basketball together. We played, as I said, over Tom White's all the time with tennis balls and wiffle ball. And I played baseball from Little League all the way through. I played in the summer, and everything. So, and it just doesn't happen that way anymore. And I just can't I just can't tell you enough. Get out of the house and start and just do it. I mean, just go down if you want to go down and shoot hoops down to the wire mill. Get a pickup game and play wiffle ball. Anything that just keeps you active and keeps you working towards a goal, I think is something that needs to happen. That's not happening right now.
Yeah, I think you're going to find across, championship runs that, teams that won in multiple sports or won multiple years that's going to be the
Everybody
common experiences from when you were in kindergarten or even younger. You were always playing some sport, getting together, competing with each other, and that's also where you can really learn how to take losing.
Right.
Because you're going to play with your buddies and you're not going to win all the time.
Nope.
Emotions are going to fly high. But beyond, what you said, I think the best advice I have when you're playing on the field is, you're not out there playing for yourself. You're not even out there playing for your town or the name on your jersey. You're out there playing for each other, and that's a big thing that I know went through with us, especially my senior year of soccer, was, you worked your butt off for each other, and it was always constantly effort for them, and good things will happen because if you kind of create that environment with your team, everyone's working hard for each other, it really elevates the level of play among everyone. So.
Yeah. I think it's important that those players that are your leaders lead well and lead and encourage others to keep improving. And just understand, I guess my biggest advice is understand that coach sees a lot more than what you may see or other parents may see. And so it's important to respect your coach and respect each other when you're playing. So that's.
Thank you to Matt, Mr. Boutin, and Miss Woods, who came to the school to share their memories.
Great job, B-Dog.
Now we go to Cassidy with the yearbook.
On May 22nd, the middle school and the high school gathered in the gym for the yearbook dedication. The seniors this year decided to dedicate the yearbook to Mr. Poor, who I will now go to share his thoughts on the dedication.
You may imagine it was extremely tough for our class to choose our person of appreciation because so many incredible members of Lisbon's faculty, staff, and community members have touched our class's hearts and made a lasting impression over the past 13 years together. So it was very challenging to find just one person amongst the crowd that we feel represents our class in the best way possible. Throughout the selection process, however, there was one name that never felt quite right to erase from our nominations. The sheer amount of joy, respect, and character development that this staff member gave to our class makes him the utmost worthy recipient of our class's yearbook dedication for this year. Whether it was coaching us on the field, pushing us to do our best in our gym classes, greeting us with a fist bump while passing in the hallway, giving us a ridiculous yet hilarious nickname, or notoriously quoting Seinfeld, he made every single member of our class feel incredibly seen and respected, not only as students, but as human beings. For that, we truly thank him for the time that he shared with us. It's the class of 2025's absolute pleasure to award Mr. Poor as our yearbook.
What went through your mind when you realized the yearbook was dedicated to you?
I was actually quite surprised, to be honest. I was fortunate enough to get it about, I think, 6 or 7 years ago, dedicated from a previous class, obviously, and I was just very pleased. I was happy. It made my day and let alone my year. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the seniors?
Well, to the seniors, well, first of all, thank you, and I'm glad they thought of me through the process of being selected. It's a very special thing, and it's something that I never forget. And I also, with all the players that I've coached and the people that I've had connections with, I try to make their day a better day, put a smile on their face, make the building a better place for them. And I was happy to be, thought of as somebody that they could, trust, be there to talk to, have a good laugh with, and be a good student athlete or a good student in general, which is great. So yeah, I was ecstatic. I was happy.
Thank you, Mr. Port, and thank you to the Yearbook Club. Now let's go back to the hosts.
Great piece, Cassidy. Very interesting.
Next up, we have Maya with the Lisbon Friends and Council.
Hello everyone, my name is Maya, and today I'll be interviewing Beth Johnson on my big story, Friends and Council. Now let's go to Beth Johnson to win more information. What is Friends and Council?
Friends and Council is a small group of women from local communities that help improve the community and environment. We have right now approximately 27 members, and we're always looking for new members. And I would like to just tell some of the projects that we do. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Some of the community projects that we did the past year were the Lisbon Area Historical Society Tea Party as a fundraiser for the Historical Society. We did back to school supplies for Lisbon Regional School. We donated backpacks and school supplies for children and for teachers. We made gift bags for the residents of the Lilac Inn. We had a food drive of non-perishable foods for the Good Shepherd Food Pantry. We did a blue bag trash pickup for the community before lilac time. In our fundraising projects, the major fundraising projects from this year was a quilt raffle. Our members made a quilt and have sold tickets for 2 years. We make and sell grain feed shopping bags. Our members cater our meals, and they receive the money that members are charged for the meal. And we have a silent auction every year for our members. The donations that we've given to local organizations are to the Historical Society, Blue School Healthy Snacks, the Lisbon Public Library, the Lisbon Regional Music Program, the Yearbook, Lisbon Regional Yearbook, the Main Street Flower Program, and a Veterans Christmas Program.
How do you become a Friends and Council member?
Becoming a Friends and Council member is very easy. You just need to contact a member of the Friends and Council and say that you're interested in joining our group. We meet every first Wednesday of the month, September through June. We do take January and February and March off. And you can also let us know through our email address, which is friendsandcouncil97@gmail.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A big thank you to Beth Johnson, who is a part of the Friends and Council. Now back to the host.
Thanks, Maya, for the informative piece.
Now I have Avery's big story on New York City and DC trip.
Hey y'all, my name's Avery and I'm doing a piece on the New York and Washington DC trip. Process behind the New York and Washington DC trip.
Long and arduous. You have to put a lot of thought into this process. We're talking about a trip that's a significant amount of money. You also want to put together something because it's school-based, that's educational, but also it's fun. So there's a lot of factors and parameters. We started this about, in I think February last year. Started putting together the process. A lot of what we do doing these high school trips is we work in partnership with the Ed Foundation, okay? And kind of the seed for this came from some of the Ed Foundation members who remember their high school trip many years ago to Washington, D.C. So it was one of those things that they kind of pushed forth. And we just went with it. So, in New York City is about halfway, so on the way down to DC, it's a good place to stop for a night and then continue the journey, and then you take the red eye back from DC to home. So that's when it began. And we started outlining the initial planning stages, but in that planning process, you choose your destination, you look at dates, then you have to get administrative and board approval. Then you have to research all the travel logistics, time frames, etc. What venues you want to have or sites you want to visit, and are they available? Then you start your drafting your budget, all right? And on any trip, your budget's going to include obviously the transportation, the lodging, the food, the venue costs, because like the Holocaust Museum, the 9/11 Museum, a lot of those museums are not free, so you have to pay for them. So that all is part of that. And one of the things we found when you're doing a trip like that, it is really beneficial to work with a tour company, okay? And you work with them to coordinate all of this process, because it's one thing for us to handle in-house coordinating like we did when we went to Boston last year. We just coordinated it. Mrs. Locke and I did all of that for that trip. But when you're gone for 4 days and it's multiple moving parts, it's better to have a tour company involved, because they can guarantee things, they can get you better rates for hotel rooms, etc. So when you're staying in New York City or vicinity or Washington, D.C., it's not cheap staying in a hotel room. So you go from there, you start the logistics part, and by June of last year it was time to get the messages out, and then you got to start signing students up. And remember, the budget is always, it's an estimated budget. You don't finalize that budget for quite a while. We didn't finalize the actual numbers until January 1st of this year. And so then you really know what you got to raise for money. So one of the things here, though, we have been very fortunate is the Ed Foundation paid for about half the cost of the trip. And again, it was significant. It was significant. So that's part of it. And then we get out, after we get all the logistics, the estimated budget and everything completed, then we get out the, get students signing up so we know how many are actually planning to go, because the number per student that you received is based upon the number of students going. So the fewer students, the higher the cost.
per student. So then we throughout this whole process, once we know we're doing it, we have a lot of parent communication. And, that's the process for, in this case, several months. And then at the very end of it is when you start putting it together, chaperones. We have to build in the medical and safety prep, okay?
Tell me a little bit about the New York and Washington, D.C. trip and what you did on it.
Yes. We went to New York first, and we went through there. We went to the 9/11 Memorial. What else did we do? We went to Chinatown. We went to Little Italy. It was a lot of fun in New York, but I preferred Washington, D.C. a little better. The weather wasn't great there, but it was still fun. We went to the Arlington Cemetery, and we went to the Vietnam Memorial and the U.S. Capitol.
Thank you.
And what did you do? I thought it was pretty fun. New York, we did a lot in New York. We went to Times Square, whatever that park thing was called. We ate at Hard Rock Cafe. We saw a half-naked guy handing out roses in just his underwear. And DC, we went to the Vietnam Memorial, whatever that hill was called, the Holocaust Museum, we went there as well. And what was your favorite part? About DC or just everything? What do you like better, DC or New York? I like DC because there was less people, but New York there was a lot more to do. And New York stunk a lot. It did. It did stinky. It was stinky. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you for letting me interview you guys. Back to the host.
Wow, what an amazing trip. Great job, Avery.
Next, we go to a special piece where Emily, Cadence, and Evan make some summertime drinks.
Hello everybody and welcome to Sweet Summer Sips. I'm Evan Moody and today I'm here with
Cadence Ritchie and Emily Mitten. Today we're going to be showing you how to make some fun summer drinks, but with a twist.
They're all from extraordinary countries around the globe.
I am going to be making the Blackberry Lime Porch Punch, originated in Britain.
I will be showing you how to make a Blue Lagoon, which is from France.
And finally, I'll be showing you how to make a Pina Colada, which is from Puerto Rico. Let's get right into it.
This drink is not meant for a thing at parties or a thing you would make on a daily basis. It's more meant for people who work outside a lot. It's best fit when you work outside on a hot summer day and you need something to drink. This drink would be more meant for that than anything else. It's actually otherwise known. Our first ingredient are blackberries. Second ingredient is obviously going to be limes, as it says in the name. Next ingredient, ginger beer. And finally, sweet tea. Our first step is to put blackberries in 3 cups, to say. So, next step is to actually get sweet tea. Is get half of a cup of these limes. Well, lime juice anyway. Our next step is going to be pouring these blackberries inside the bowl. Need a masher of some sorts. You need to smash up the blackberries, right? Then, after they look like this, basically all juicy, you'll grab it. You put the juice inside the punch bowl. Then you'll stir in the sweet tea slowly, basically. Okay, after you stir in all the sweet tea, you pour in the water. Continue mixing. My favorite part of the drink, ginger beer. So this is not my quality for the version. Now let's try our interesting drink.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yuck.
Guys, it's the best drink I've ever tried in my life.
No, I can't. I would not recommend this.
I do not recommend this drink. This drink was overly hard to make, and I cracked the glass while making it. Do not make this drink.
My name is Cadence Ritchie, and today I'll be teaching you how to create the Blue Lagoon, which is created by Andy McElhone. For this drink, you'll need Sprite, blue raspberry syrup, lime juice, a lime, sugar, or we have some gold sparkles, along with ice. I'm gonna start by cutting my lime. We'll use this to brim my drink so then the sugar will stick to it. Next, I'm gonna fill this plate with sprinkles to then brim my cup with. Next, I'm going to rim my cup with lime juice so the sprinkles stick. This step is optional, but it adds a fun flair. Now the next step is simply pouring my Sprite into the cup. This drink was actually created in the 1960s or 1970s, but the exact time is not known. I'm gonna pour this to about 2/3 filled. Now I'm going to grab my lime juice and we're gonna do 1 tablespoon of lime juice. Next, we're gonna get our blue raspberry and we're gonna do about just 1 ounce of that. A fun fact, Andy's dad was actually the founder of a famous bar in New York called Harry's New York Bar. Now, for the second to final step, pour our blue raspberry sauce in the drink. Now we'll grab our ice. Now that we have our ice, I'm gonna go ahead and put about 3 pieces in, but you can put as ever many as you'd like. All right, and the last and final step is to stir your drink to make sure everything is nice and mixed. Now, let's go ahead and get Eben and Emily to try the drink and give a review. Let's try my drink.
Cheers.
Tastes like Mountain Dew.
I can see that, yeah.
Tastes very good. I like the lime with the blue raspberry.
Yeah. A great summer drink.
It's way better than my drink.
How aesthetic.
It's, yeah, it gets to be aesthetic and it tastes very good. Doesn't that scream summer? Exactly.
I would give it a solid 8 then.
8, what about you?
I'd give it a 9 out of 10. You can spice it up, but
a 10 out of 10 because it has a lot of childhood memories.
I'm biased.
Yeah, I made the drink, and I just. All right, moving on to Emily's drink now.
Hello everyone, my name is Emily Mitten. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the pina colada, which is the national drink of Puerto Rico. So first, to start, you're going to need half a cup of pineapple juice, half a cup of cream of coconut, half a cup of ice, a measuring cup, along with a blender. Now let's get into making the drink. Our first step is to pour our pineapple juice into our measuring cup to make sure it's exactly 1/2 of a cup. Perfect, and now that we have that measured out, we'll pour it into our blender. Right. So now we're going to take the cream of coconut and put that into our measuring cup. Make sure again that there's half a cup of this as well.
Perfect. And then we're gonna take this and put it into our blender with that pineapple juice. And then finally, we're going to put some ice in the blender as well. And now that all of our ingredients are in the blender, it's time to blend them all together for our final step. And now that our drink is all blended up, let's pour it into the cups to give it a try. All right, let's give the drink a try. Cheers.
You said it would taste better!
If you were wanting...
This would be good if you wanted to...
Throw up.
Not throw up, but more like...
It's good.
If you're just searching for something very simple and very easy to make that tastes just good enough to the point where you won't regurgitate it, this is your drink.
Well, in all seriousness, if you're a coconut person, I'm sure you would like it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's delicious. It makes you feel like you're on the beach sipping out of a coconut.
I think you're just romanticizing that.
It's good. You all need to try it, please, and support me. Support me in the comments. They're harassing me. Thank you for watching me make my drink.
Thank you all so much for listening to us.
We hope that these fun summer drinks can both satisfy your palate and give you something fun to do this summertime.
This has been Sweet Summer Sips with Cadence, Emily, and Eben, and we hope you have a fantastic summer.
Great job, y'all. Those look great. Can I get a sip?
My name is Maya, and I'm doing a piece on 5th grade outdoor classroom. Let's now go to Liliana and Cooper on more about the trip.
We made a fire, we carved wood, and blacksmithing. We did this isn't something that we did with the boys, but me, Ava, and Jolene told stories at night.
Can you tell me about one of the classrooms you did?
When we did blacksmithing, we had to yell hot metal when we took it out of the fire. And yeah. In wood carving, we just took a block of wood and then we carved it into butter knives. Butter spreaders. Spreaders, not butter knives.
Thank you, Liliana and Cooper. Now back to the host.
That was Panther Productions for this week.
Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Peace out, gang.